On a cold night in June of 1962, 3 men went to sleep inside the most secure prison in America. The guards completed their rounds just as they had hundreds of times before. The lights dimmed, the island fell quiet. There were no warnings, no signs of trouble, no sense that history was about to change. From the outside, Alcatraz looked calm, unmoved, certain. By morning, 3 beds were empty. No alarms had been triggered. No guards were attacked. No bodies were found. Only silence. And a question that still refuses to fade. Did anyone ever escape Alcatraz? Alcatraz was designed to do more than hold prisoners. It was designed to end ideas. Alcatraz Federal Penitentiary officially opened in August 1934. Its purpose was simple: take the men who caused problems everywhere else and send them somewhere final. No parole hearings, no rehabilitation experiments, no second chances. Just an island, 1.25 miles from shore, surrounded by water that rarely rose above 54 degrees Fahrenheit. By the 1950s, Alcatraz had developed a reputation stronger than its walls. Inmates didn't talk about escaping. They talked about enduring. From the shore of San Francisco, the island feels close. On clear nights, prisoners could hear music drifting across the water. They could see headlights moving through the city. Freedom was never hidden. It was displayed. The real barrier wasn't steel, it was the bay. The water was freezing year-round. The currents were unpredictable. And the distance, while short on paper, was deadly in practice. Guards didn't rely on threats. They relied on inevitability. Men arrived believing they could outsmart the prison. Most stopped believing within weeks. Because once a place convinces you escape is impossible, hope becomes unnecessary. And without hope, even strong men become compliant. Most prisoners accepted that truth. Most. January 1960. A man named Frank Lee Morris arrived at Alcatraz by boat. He was 34 years old. He was different. He didn't arrive angry, he didn't complain, he didn't challenge authority, he watched. Morris had spent most of his life inside institutions, reform schools, prisons, places where structure replaced freedom. Over time, he learned how systems fail, not loudly, quietly. He had already escaped from prisons before. That detail was noted, filed, then ignored. Morris was assigned to cell 138 in B block. From the outside, the cell was identical to the others. From the inside, it wasn't. The concrete behind the sink was soft. Decades of salt air had eaten at it slowly, patiently. The prison didn't notice. Frank Morris did. By 1961, Morris was no longer alone in his observations. 2 brothers, John and Clarence Anglin, occupied nearby cells. They had been transferred to Alcatraz for repeated escape attempts elsewhere. Like Morris, they did not speak recklessly. John and Clarence Anglin understood patience. They grew up working together on farms, quiet labor, long hours, shared trust. At Alcatraz, they applied the same mindset. Observe, wait, remember. They noticed small things, a vent that crumbled too easily, a guard who never varied his route, a sound that never drew attention. Individually, these details meant nothing. Together, they suggested something dangerous. The prison was not perfect. Escape did not begin with action. It began with repetition. At night, Morris played his accordion. The sound wasn't entertainment. It was cover. Metal on concrete disappeared beneath music. Spoonful by spoonful, the wall changed shape. Using spoons stolen from the mess hall, they chipped away at weakened concrete. Night after night, the men worked behind their cell vents. Progress was slow, measured in millimeters. Salt air had quietly damaged the walls for decades. The prison never noticed. Every morning, the damage was hidden. Cardboard vents, carefully painted, returned to place. Nothing appeared disturbed. The prison believed escape was impossible. That belief became its weakness. Months passed. Then came the raft. Raincoats were stolen one at a time, cut, stitched, sealed with steam pipes. It wasn't elegant. It didn't need to be. It only needed to float. The most important part of the plan wasn't the raft. It was the lie. Alcatraz trusted one thing above all else: the night count. Every inmate had to be seen in bed. That was enough. No one checked breathing. No one touched shoulders. Sight was sufficient. Soap from the infirmary, toilet paper, paint stolen in fragments, hair collected from the barbershop floor. They were crude up close. They were perfect in low light. From a distance, they looked convincing, enough to survive a flashlight sweep. The prison didn't need perfection, it needed familiarity. So the men built heads. This wasn't about fooling technology. It was about fooling tired humans. Guards expected nothing, so they saw nothing. The prison ran on routine, and routine creates trust, and the trust can be broken. The night felt ordinary. Guards passed cells without stopping. Nothing unusual. Inside their cells, 3 men prepared for the last time. The dummy heads were placed. The vents removed. The climb began. One by one, they slipped into a service corridor, then onto the roof. The night swallowed them. No alarms sounded, no voices followed. At approximately 11:30 p.m., they vanished into the darkness beyond the walls. The raft hit the water near 11:40 p.m. No one knows exactly when they vanished into the fog. Behind them, Alcatraz continued operating as if nothing had changed. What we know is what followed. At 7 a.m., June 12, 1962, a guard touched Frank Morris's shoulder. It didn't move. The head rolled. The prison stopped breathing. Morning roll call exposed the illusion. The cells were empty. The beds cold. The prison locked down. Searches began. Boats scoured the water. Nothing. Days turned into weeks, weeks into years. Rumors replaced facts. San Francisco Bay does not forgive hesitation. The water temperature that night hovered near freezing. The currents shifted unpredictably. The FBI concluded the men drowned. The water was too cold, the distance too far. Official reports later claimed the men never stood a chance, but evidence told a quieter story. No bodies surfaced, no clothes washed ashore. Fragments of a raft were discovered. So was a piece of raincoat material. Some currents that night flowed toward land, not away from it. The bay did not offer answers, only uncertainty. A flower left on a mother's grave. A Christmas card signed with familiar handwriting. A photograph decades later taken in Brazil. Each piece raised questions. None provided certainty, but none could be dismissed entirely. Alcatraz closed in 1963. Not because of escapes, because it was too expensive to maintain certainty. Today, Alcatraz is a museum. Tourists walk past empty cells, past damaged vents, past the beds where dummy heads once rested. It crumbles easily, and the question Alcatraz never solved remains. Did the prison fail, or did it simply refuse to notice until it was too late? The prison still stands, the bay still moves, the story ends without resolution. Maybe the men drowned in the darkness, or maybe on that quiet June night, 3 prisoners did what no one believed was possible and simply disappeared.